What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can start becoming successful as a part-time wholesaler with my easy three-step process. What's up? I've done over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals. My name is Zach Ginn, and I'm 23 years old. In the past 6 years, yes, I did over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals, and my goal today is really to break down and talk to the wholesalers out here that have maybe not gotten their first deal, maybe they're on their 50th deal, but they are wholesaling houses part-time, and they want to know exactly for 2023 how you can become successful with this, and most importantly, an action plan so you can go out here, listen pretty much to what the play I'm saying, and then go out here and do it, right? I think so many people get so overwhelmed because they don't know what to do, right? And we call it analysis paralysis a lot. And so many people get so freaked out and scared and worried about what to do when the honest truth is, I'm just going to tell you what to do, right? There's so many people pay for these crazy, expensive mentorships to learn wholesaling real estate when, in all honesty, I'm just going to break down exactly what you should do. And really, the honest truth, what it's going to take for you to become successful in wholesaling real estate and exactly everything you need to know. But before I break it down, y'all know the vibes. Y'all already know what y'all got to do. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys, and we can break down everything you know. So hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, comment below your questions. Love answering everyone's questions. And really what I want to do today is really break down everything you need to know for a part-time wholesaler. And as you know, we are live here. And when I'm live on this YouTube channel all by myself here at night, guess what? It's just me here. So I just got to check on the audio, make sure we're all set, and we're going to break this all down. And yep, audio looks good. So let's break this down. Get your notebook out. If you're a part-time wholesaler, let's break this all down so you know exactly what to do. So the first question you have to ask yourself right here is, hey, what is a part-time wholesaler? Am I a full-time wholesaler or am I a part-time wholesaler? And honestly, what I found in wholesaling real estate, a part-time wholesaler is somebody that's really doing 10 to 20 hours a week in wholesaling real estate, right? And for my people out here that are doing 5 hours or 4 hours, or heck, I've seen people say only have 3 hours a week to do this, right? Honestly, it's going to be extremely hard to get your first deal with only doing 3 hours. And I'm trying to say this in a way that's nice, or trying to say this in a way that's going to make you feel good. But really, if you cannot dedicate 3 hours, it's going to be very difficult. I'd rather you have 10 hours and $0, like no money at all, than you going out here and doing 3 hours and having $1,000 to spend, right? Because there's two resources we have in wholesaling real estate, right? There's time and then there's money, right? And you have to use both these resources from every part of this business, right? From making no money to making 10 grand to making 20 grand, heck, to making 100 grand every single month, right? It's all going to be how you utilize your time and your money. Once you got some money, you can start leveraging out, but you're going to have some knowledge in your head too on how to do this right. A lot of it is a yin and a yang of how to actually do this the right way. So really what you got to understand is, if you want to be a part-time wholesaler, this guide is really going to be for people 10 to 20 hours. That's honestly what I've seen, and that's what it's going to take you to become successful. What you have to understand in wholesaling real estate part-time, this is going to be of the utmost importance. This isn't people that have 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week they're going to put in this business. It's not for these people, but this is for people that don't have that much time part-time wholesaling. You get a job, kids, I get it. Money's not the barrier here. This is not a guru. Like, this is not guru talk, okay? But we have to understand is, because we have such little time, right? The highest priority for us is getting the most out of that time. And I talk about this all the time, but there's this bodybuilder out here. His name's Dorian Yates, right? He was in the 90s. I think he was the top bodybuilder in the 90s before Ronnie Coleman, and then I think after Schwarzenegger, right? All these big, muscular, like steroid guys, right? And he was the best out of them. And yes, they took steroids. Don't do that. That's always terrible to do, right? Don't take drugs or cheat or anything like that. And I wish I could accuse gurus of being on steroids, but it's pretty obvious that none of them are. But, you know, they broke, so they can't afford them. But it's just kind of funny. But one thing I can tell you is he was one of the best bodybuilders of all time. And not just because he took steroids, right? Because everyone else taking steroids, but why was he better than everybody else? He is on record on saying he only worked out 45 minutes a day, like 4 or 5 days a week. That's all he worked out when he was the biggest bodybuilder of all time, the most muscular man during that time, right? And he only worked out 45 minutes when, heck, you got the other crazy bodybuilder athletes working out 4 or 5 hours a day, right? And you probably know people at the gym, if you work out, that work out like 3 hours a day, right? And they're not as big as the people that work out like an hour a day. And this is the same exact thing that happens in business. Most importantly, real estate investing, entrepreneurship, at wholesaling real estate, right? How can I, working 5-10 hours a week in my wholesaling business, get more done than so many other wholesalers around me? How am I able to run a 7-figure wholesaling real estate operation working 10 hours a week? Like, I'm not working as much as the average wholesaler. I'm not grinding and doing all this crazy stuff because I have leverage, right? I'm able to utilize my time the most effective way. And when I was starting out, when I was in high school, when I had no money, well, I mean, $300, $400, $500, right? Like, it's, it's basically no money the way I look at it. When I was a broke bag boy, I didn't have much time because I was doing wrestling. I was doing high school classes. I was taking college classes. I had a job and all this crazy stuff, right? And how I was wholesaling part-time and I had no money. How was I going to be as effective? I had to be like the Dorian Yates guy for bodybuilding, right? I had to be super efficient with my time because my competition, quote unquote, they're working 8 hours a day. I only had 2 or 3 hours a day to do wholesaling at most, right? And like, what do? And I figured out that my best plan of attack was just putting bandit signs out for an hour or two on the weekends. Because that's really, I hate to say it, but like, I don't make excuses for myself, but that's really, back then, I wasn't as dedicated. That was the most time I was willing to put into this business. So that being said, I was as efficient as possible. So you see that 45 minutes of working out, like, you don't stop, you go hard in the paint. And that's why me cold calling an hour can destroy so many other people cold calling for an hour, because I'm very efficient. If you're not interested, I go to the next person. I don't waste my time. I get as many calls in that hour as possible. It's like getting the most reps in per possible, right? If somebody, so you look at, let's say on the world-class ultra marathon people in Kenya, right? If they run for an hour, because Kenya has the most, not ultra marathon, but the top marathon runners in the entire world. Somebody like that, right? If they ran for an hour versus me running in an hour, I guarantee that marathon person is probably going to run 10 more miles than me. But we worked for an hour. How is this person so much more efficient? They got more done in that hour. And unfortunately, if you're wholesaling part-time, there are ways and strategies, which I'm going to teach you in this video, on this live stream too, on how to get really in 10 to 20 hours a week of work, how you can turn that into really equivalent to 40 hours a week full-time of work. Now, there's going to be some ninja strategies I want to teach you, and they're going to be really cool. They're going to be the stuff the gurus don't want you to talk about, right? It's going to be very, very secret. But what I can tell you guys is, if you know how to utilize your time correctly, a lot of things in your business starts really popping off, and a lot of your stuff starts getting better, right? So in wholesaling real estate, there's really 2 ways to start, and I kind of said that. There's free ways to do wholesaling, and there's paid ways to do wholesaling, right? And like I always say, free wholesaling with no money, it's a lot harder. I hate to sugarcoat this. I hate to tell you something that ain't going on. Just make sure the mic's all good here. But unfortunately, when you're starting out and you got no money, wholesaling real estate's a lot tougher. You got to just put more work into it, right? And like I say in wholesaling, you got to put in money in this business, or you got to put in time in this business. And when you don't have any money, you have to put more time in, right? And when you don't have too much time, you're going to have to put in money into it. It's like a machine that takes fuel, right? And this is the fuel for wholesaling real estate. And that fuel either takes gas or diesel, right? And it's like, they don't really have engines like that. They probably do. I'm very ignorant on engines and cars, but it's like a hybrid, actually. All right. It's probably the best analogy, right? It's a hybrid. So what I mean by a hybrid, it takes either electric or gas, right? And one's not better than the other per se on a hybrid vehicle. We won't get into electric cars versus gas cars today. That's not the channel for that. But they're both things, right? and they can both make the thing go. So either you put electricity in the car or you put gas in it, right? Like that's pretty much it. And it's just, hey, one is not completely better than the other. One's probably a lot easier, right? Because I would say gas is probably easier for most people, right? Because you just put the gas in it and just goes pretty simple, right? And yes, gas engines have a lot more problems down the road and there's a lot more maintenance and stuff. But like, if I got to actually go out here and I got to go 400 miles, I could charge it up with the gas and just put I could put what, 20, 30 gallons into a huge truck and just go, right? For this electric car, which I'm gonna have to charge up, right? Now, there's advantages, disadvantages. I'm not getting into that, but like, obviously they all have their benefits and pros and cons. And that's what I'm saying, right? So one's not particularly better than the other, but all you really got to understand is most people, you just got to choose what you're going to do, right? For most people, they don't have a lot of money. And that's not a problem. You just got to know what to do. It's going to take more work. So what I say for most part-time wholesalers, and yes, you should go to freewholesaling.com, learn wholesaling real estate for free. I got y'all at freewholesaling.com. There's so many lists and marketing channels getting this business that if you just go to freewholesaling.com, it's all in there and I break it down. And I'm not going to just keep regurgitating the same list information and the same channels information because you know what they are, you know the cold calling, you know the list, you know all this stuff, right? But for most wholesalers watching this, and you've been through freewholesaling.com, you know exactly how I talk about the game, you know how I talk about how to wholesale, right? I would say for most wholesalers, when you got no money at all, cold calling government lists is hands down going to be your best thing. I talk about that for forever. Always pay for a list if you got the money, but for most people who can't afford the list, just cold call it, use Google Voice, single line dial, truepeoplesearch.com, maybe walk for dollars, bike for dollars, sprint for dollars, whatever you want to do, drive $4, whatever you want. I would honestly tell you that that's probably going to be your best stinking dang option for you. And I'm just being honest, like that's probably what most people who have no money should be doing. Now, it's not saying that that's your only option and that's all you can do, right? Because there's so many, right? You can JV with other wholesalers. Heck, you can even despo for other wholesalers for JVing. There's so many of it. But for most people starting out, there's too much information for you guys sometimes that I would say for most people cold calling. And the reason why I say cold calling, especially starting out, is because cold calling is a double whammy, right? Like it's not a double-edged sword. It's actually a double benefit sword. I don't know. I guess I'm not thinking right today. But what I mean by that is with cold calling, number one, benefit number one to cold calling, whammy number one, you talk to sellers and you potentially get deals and make a bunch of money and do well. Hey, that's great. Another really cool benefit of that, which no other guru tells you, is every time you cold call, you actually get better at cold calling. You get better at talking to motivated sellers. You get better at closing. You build your confidence up. It helps with so many other things. And the way I really look at this is like running. And running is a very interesting thing. If you look at every single sport out here, running for most sports makes you better at that sport. So if I really get really good into fighting, if I get really good at running and I get my endurance and cardio up, I get a lot better at boxing, right? It doesn't translate perfectly, but I get better. If I'm really good at running and I use that cardiac strength and that heart strength for my swimming, it's going to make my swimming better. Wrestling, right? Most combat sports, right? And then I look at tennis, and if I have that stamina in there, it'll make it a lot better. If I'm very heart healthy, I can weight lift better, right? That's the way I look at cold calling. Cold calling is like the running of sports. It's not the most enjoyable thing, but if you get really good at endurance, every other aspect of wholesaling becomes so much easier. And when I get really cold calling gained me the most confidence when I talking to sellers. It just did. SMS text blasting didn't give me that confidence on closing a seller over the phone as when I did cold calling. And cold calling is just a form of running when you really look at it, right? It's not sexy at all. And I don't need to do it anymore, but I still do it live with you guys just to show you guys. And I'm excited Tuesday. I'm doing another live cold calling session. That's going to be fun. But honestly, so many wholesalers out here really think they want to avoid it, right? And let's say you're really into soccer, right? We've got the World Cup going on. If you really love soccer and you want to become the best soccer player in the world, yes, you want to play soccer all the time, but you know you need to run. You know you need to get really good at running, especially for like a midfielder, right? And unfortunately, it's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not the best, but If you're running, it's going to help you out with the sport, which is closing sellers, talking to sellers, things like that. It's the work you don't want to do that makes you so much better. If I want to become a really good football player, like I want to be one of the best running backs of all time, or I want to be one of the best, let's say, linebackers of all time, weightlifting is probably going to make me better at that. And now I'd rather play football, but weightlifting, I'm going to have to do it, right? If I want to get really good at basketball, running is going to be great. Now, it's all about that cardio. It's all about that endurance strength. It just translates, right? You just want to translate it over, and it just makes you better. Everybody asks me, Zach, how do you have these skills for talking to motivated sellers? How do you have these skills, let's say, from doing live streams like this all the time? Like, how did I get so good at doing live streams? Now, I'm not good at live streams, right? But why am I so good at going on a live stream, taking my phone out and cold calling seller in front of thousands of people, no problem, no sweat off my back? Number one, I actually got a spine on my gurus. But number two, and this is very important, I've cold called so many times, it's nothing to me. And because I've cold called and talked to sellers over the phone, I know exactly what they're going to say. I have all the experience in the world. I got no sweat off my back. So I can do it in front of thousands of people because I'm just so used to it, right? And once you start doing this, you start understanding that, hey, what's the worst thing that can happen in front of 1,000 people? Cold call, somebody says something mean to me. What's the best thing? I close them. And you guys see me close sellers over the live stream so many times. $50,000 deals, $40,000, $30,000, $20,000 deals, right? I get huge price reductions. Heck, do $100,000 plus price reductions on Zillow for sub-owners all the time. You know why? Because I just do it, right? Like doing the action is the most important part. Now, if it's paid, it becomes actually a lot easier. And I'll tell you that straight up. That's nothing to make anyone feel bad that they need to pay, right? But when you do put in money, it does become a little easier, right? You still need to get those skills, but it becomes a lot easier, right? And it's a fuel, right? One's not going to make your success in wholesaling better, just makes it a tad easier just to go from the start, right? So this is like cold calling with a dialer. Just with a dialer, you're able to have more conversations with people. You're usually 2.5 to 3 times more efficient. It's not really a 3x multiple, but it's like a 2.5. And really what that means is, I'll say 3 just for the sake of this video, but like I'm 3 times more effective cold calling. I'm able to talk to 3 times more sellers, 3 times more appointments, and 3 times more deals when I'm using a dialer like ZachDialer.com. When I pay, it just makes it so much easier. SMS text blasting, right? Now, cold calling will gain your skills up from that, but what I can tell you is it's very hard to talk to 2,000 sellers just in an hour, right? It's extremely hard. With texting, you can't do that, right? And of course, with texting, it is a little more different, right? 2,000 a day with cold calling, right? But it's just another line of attack. You add that in the cold calling, drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars. You can even pay people to drive for dollars for you. You can effectively scale up your operations from there. And yes, you can still cold call government and free lists, right? There's no problem on there. You can do direct mail. It becomes a lot easier, right? And I know a lot of wholesalers out here that like they're doing direct mail for their part-time because it's really simple, right? And even bandit signs, but bandit signs got to work in your market. So make sure that's fine. But like, I didn't put that, I mean, it's part of the etc. part here, but like just getting a direct mail piece, like an ROS postcard, pulling like a high equity list, and make sure you use the freewholesaling.com filters. Send maybe 2,000 postcards out, get the incoming calls in, and maybe get 50, 60 calls, right? And from there, you do maybe 4 or 5 appointments and you get some deals, and you're not as effective with your money and time, but you're able to do 1 or 2 deals working not that hard on the lead generation side because you paid a lot of money for the postcards, right? And the ROI is amazing, right? Like you really can't still beat in any business. So there's so many ways around this, right? And I do think, and I will say this in the video, I do not talk about direct mail as much as I should have, but I do think still direct mail is a game when you're making over 100K in wholesaling, which I think so many people can really screw up their direct mail if they don't do it right. But I'll tell you, for a lot of people that maybe have some experience and that have done some deals that maybe they got this crazy job that's getting harder, that can be another thing that can help you out too. You know, I got mine. All right, cool. All right. Next here, I want everybody to understand this too, and I'm going to break down some important part-time action plan stuff. And I think so many people got to understand this. But next here is consistently making calls and having conversations. I don't care which one you do, and I could really care less if you're doing free or paid. Like if you go tell me I'm doing a free one, I'm doing a paid one, honestly, I could care less. And what I mean by this, I'm not trying to be mean or something, but like none of that matters unless you're consistently making calls and having conversations. That is the point of doing free or paid on everything we do, right? If you can consistently make calls to your motivated sellers, if you can consistently have conversations with your motivated sellers, and if you can consistently, on a consistent basis, every single day, every single month, every single week, make offers to motivated sellers, you'll start doing deals. The name of the game is not how many lists I can pull, how many drawing for dollars leads I can do, not how many conversations I can have, but it all comes down to one really important thing, and that's offers, right? And yes, having cash buyers, all these things are very important too, and they should be of utmost importance. But if you're not making offers, you're not doing deals. And if you're not doing a high amount of offers or a decent amount of offers, you're not doing well. And this is where I stop so many people doing part-time wholesaling. They'll come up to me like, Zach, I'm not doing well in my business. I'm not doing well part-time wholesaling, and I blame you. Or like it happens all the time. They have the audacity to say that. And I always say, like, you got to blame yourself. How many offers did you make this week? And if you say you only made one offer or two offers, it's laughable. You're going to have to really pump your numbers up. And really, a lot of people are making that KPI and how many lists they can pull or conversations they have. And conversations are important, but it's all about making those offers. And it's like taking a shot. Maybe it's even a half-court shot. Most likely it's not going to go in that half-court shot. But I promise you, for everybody watching this, if you can make half quarters, if you make like 100 of them or like 150 or 200, like one of them's going to go in. And you're going to get better at it, right? Like I used to be terrible at my three-pointers and still not the best at it, but I can tell you this, especially in wholesaling real estate. This is always a funny thing, but the more shots you take, the better you get at doing them and the more points you're going to get. It's always an interesting thing, but it works very well. And what's the number one reason why people who make offers or they can't get offers done, right? What's the biggest issue? Why can't they actually become very consistent with it, right? And here's one thing I could tell you. Wasting time with bad lists. And I found so many people doing this, and it hurts. It hurts my soul to see this. So much wasted time and wasted potential. And the honest truth is, if you're watching this video, you know what a bad list is. If your guru's telling you to do a list and it's this crazy thing from Fiverr and it's the super secret sauce that's going to help out, it's probably not. Like, you got to use the tried and true systems, right? People that have ugly houses, the house is usually ugly from two things, only two things. Either the house becomes motivated, if it's a good wholesaling deal, the house becomes very motivated or the person becomes motivated, right? So either something happened to the property that's made it ugly, or the person had a personal situation in their life, financially usually, sometimes personal, that created the house to become ugly, right? What do I mean by this? Structural damage, hurricane, tornado. I've seen this before. This is no shock to me. A tree growing out of a toilet. Don't even get me in that story, but it happens a lot. I've had trees growing out of literally reinforced concrete swimming pools, trees going like insane, crazy trees, mangoes destroying roofs, Mother Nature doing crazy stuff, right? And then I have people, probates, arrests, liens, not paying mortgages, losing jobs, people passing away. Like, there's so many situations, but it seems like there's an endless ways why somebody might not want to take care of our property, but it really comes down to 40, 50 things. Like, it's not like a huge, massive list. And it's not as crazy as people think. And if you really stick to the main list that make 90% of people want to sell their property for cash, and I'm telling you, Rick's been doing this for over 20 years. I've been over 6 years of experience, and I've read countless books since literally the 1940s and 50s about wholesaling real estate. And really, human beings are pretty much the same. And you look at tragedies and terrible things that happen, but like human beings, with the change in rapid pace of technology, yes, technology has changed for the human race in the United States of America, but the human mind has not. The human mind hasn't really changed in tens of thousands of years. And I hate to say it like that, but it's absolutely true. Culture might change, but the way the brain operates, the way situations arise, this way situations, people agree with people, disagree with people, people make decisions. Those are tens of thousands of years old, right? And so many wholesalers will probably agree. A lot of psychology people agree with me, but the human brain is an interesting thing. And once you study psychology, you can reverse engineer it and you can figure out what lists are working really well. And you figure out which ones aren't working well. One simple trick I can tell for every part-time wholesaler watching this is just study your competition. And this doesn't seem like a crazy thing to do, but I'm going to go back to a sports analogy. And I know that people hate me using sports analogies, but hey, I found 70% of people watching this are dudes, and most dudes like sports. And what I'll tell you, I'll use 3 analogies, okay? Maybe to help every demographic out. Because I got a great international crowd out here too. Let's do World Cup, for example, right? I'm playing Brazil in the World Cup, okay? Brazil is one of the top teams. Brazil's actually doing very well, right? Shout out to Brazil. If I'm going to play Brazil and I want to beat them, right, in football, call it soccer over here, but call it football. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch teams that beat Brazil's butt and see what they do. So like I look at the 2014 World Cup semifinals. I'm sorry for all my Portuguese, Brazilian people out here. When they lost 7-2 to Germany. I'm going to watch that game. Wow. They destroyed that goalkeeper because they did this, this, and this. I might go back and watch film and stuff like that and see, how did that person lose? I go watch a boxing match and I want to see if I'm going to fight somebody. I'm looking at this person, they're 50-4, right? They have 50 wins, 4 losses. Let me look at all the wins and let me look at all the losses and let me look at the losses really carefully. Wow, this guy cannot stand it when you do a left jab. That's a weakness. Let's go after that, right? That's how you really win, and that's how you really win against competition opponents. Similar thing for wholesaling real estate, right? If I'm fishing and let's say I go move to, I don't know, it's a good fishing spot. Let's say I go up to what's a good example? Let's just say I go North Carolina, all right? They got the Outer Banks there. They got some good fishing there, right? If I go, I have no idea how fishing works in North Carolina, right? But if I go there, see all the offshore fishermen, and they're all catching marlin and bluefin and stuff like that, I'm going to just watch and see what they do. I'm going to go out there in the ocean and say, okay, they're using this bait, and they're doing this, and they're dropping it this many feet down the ocean. That's how they catch it. Monkey see, monkey do. Like wholesaling real estate, if I'm part-time, I don't want to waste my time with bad lists. If I move to Greenville, South Carolina, and I see so many people are doing so well with texting a pre-foreclosure list, I know 4 people are doing it, I'm probably going to do that, right? Figure out what's working and what is not working. And that's going to be the fastest way to find the best list for you for wholesaling. Now, I can tell you what the best lists are, but the best lists are what works in your market. Some markets, some lists work really well, and some lists do not work really well, right? And it's your determination which one's going to work. What works best? What areas are really good for wholesaling? I can ask cash buyers, but I can also look at my competition and see what they do. Once you start efficiently doing things like this is when you stop wasting your time and become a lot more successful. Next part here is sticking to your schedule. I can tell most people in wholesaling real estate do not like sticking to a schedule, and sticking to a schedule will actually make you very, very successful. If you can actually go out here and start talking to motivated sellers if you go to motivated sellers and you start making more offers and you start becoming very consistent with your schedule, you become very successful. So what I want to do is break down my 3-step process. And before I break down my 3-step process, that's what everyone's waiting for, I want to break down kind of the time plan, an action plan, and then we'll break down our 3-step process, because this 3-step process is a lot more simpler than you think. So let's break this down. I've talked about this a lot. This is in freewholesaling.com actually, so let's put that on the bottom. Actually, I won't do that right now. But you see here, we're talking about 3 types of wholesalers. The part-time action plan, right? When you're just doing part-time wholesaling real estate, right? And this, you got like 5 hours a week, right? And what I could tell you is, if you got 5 hours a week for wholesaling, I'm probably going to say, if you only have 5 hours, which this is not a lot, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday. Hopefully you can do some on Sunday, but heck, you got 5 hours, right? What am I going to do? 10 to 12, I'd probably do drawing for dollars and reverse drawing for dollars. I'd probably spend 2 hours on a Monday, 5 to 7 if I got a 9 to 5 job. Monday cold calling. Then next Saturday, maybe do my 10 to 12 again, and then do 2 to 3 on seller appointments and calls and deals and cash buyers and things like that, right? Unfortunately, on a 9 to 5 schedule, it's very tough, but this is my part-time action plan. I know I didn't talk about it too much in there, but it's actually something that works very, very well. This is my part-time action plan. I love it. It's great. It actually works very well. So for most wholesalers, I think it works very good. Now, how do you spend your time, right? If you're doing part-time, or let's say you're doing 10 hours, right? Like, how do you spend this time, right? If I have 10 hours a week, you can double this if you're doing 20, right? I would probably do this type of splitting, right? So I'd probably spend 4 hours if I can list polling, 8 hours if I'm doing 20 hours a week, right? On any type of other thing, 4 to 8 hours for marketing, then 2 to 4 hours on sellers, cash buyers, just following up with them, title companies, things like that. Really, it shouldn't get that complicated for you in real estate wholesaling, but what I could tell you is the 4-4-2 split, or what we call the 8-8-4 splits, it's not the most insane thing in the world, right? It's not the sexiest thing I'm telling you right now, but it gets the job done. And really, when we're doing part-time wholesaling, our goal is maybe to make 50, 60, 70, 100 grand just to replace our full-time income. And this is going to be a very good plan that's going to help you out very well. So if I kind of look back on here, we go here to the timing for 10 hours a week. Maybe this should be the schedule action plan you should be doing, right? What is it going to be, right? 10 to 1 Saturday drawing for dollars and reverse drawing for dollars. Heck, if you can add Sundays in there for lead polling, and then cold calling on days where it's not like Sunday or Saturday, that's probably going to be a lot better for you. But heck, to each their own, right? 5 to 10 on a Monday. Guys, you can cold call 5 hours. It will not melt you to smithereens. You can do it. I'm telling everybody on here, it is possible. And then 2 to 4 p.m., I would probably do a seller appointments and calls. So what I mean by that, right? I'll probably spend 2 hours just on appointments, talking to sellers, doing my calls and my follow-ups. This is hands down going to be the best split for you, right? And a lot of people, they're not the biggest fans of a strict schedule, but I can tell you is discipline equals freedom. And once you start implementing discipline in your life, you will find a huge change in your trajectory, right? And for most wholesalers out here, that's going to be the best thing you possibly can do. And for most wholesalers, that's probably going to be what I would say, right? I think so. So let's look at this one more time so everybody knows the scheduling on here. But that's going to be the best time, right? So 5 to 10 on the cold calling, if you can do the 5 hours on there. But, you know, some people really, they can't put 5 hours in, that's fine. But that's probably going to be your best time for it, right? If you're doing part-time wholesaling real estate, right? And really, if you keep that up, you're going to do very well. So I just want everybody to know that. That's probably going to be what's going to give you the best success out here for wholesaling real estate, right? And let's see. Another question on the TCPA laws. So yeah, you're right. TCPA is 9 p.m., but you're also forgetting it's 9 p.m. in the area you're doing. So if I'm cold calling Zillow for sale by owners, I can cold call till 10 o'clock if I'm doing Central Time, right? And it depends where the time you are currently at. So it's 10 p.m. where the thing is. So 10 p.m. is actually 7 p.m. in California. So just appreciate that one, Richard, but just know your time zones for it. And yeah, if you got to do 10, that's the law. But at freeholsing.com, we break down, you're just going to have to do what is on the other time zone. But for most people doing part-time wholesaling, a lot of them are virtual, so that's no skin off their backs. So it makes it a lot easier. So let's talk about my 3-step process for it. And I hate to say this, people are not going to be excited me breaking this down, but they're not going to be excited because it's super simple, right? And I've honestly found when I simplify wholesaling, people become more successful in it. So what is it? Step number 1, find where the deals are, right? So either talk to your cash buyers, or heck, you can even find your competition, see what they're doing, and just find the top zip codes and areas in wholesaling real estate on exactly where you can start finding sellers. You can start finding wholesaling deals. Just go out here and find where the stinking deals are. And once you go out here and you start finding where the deals are, telling you, it becomes a lot more easier, this wholesaling real estate thing, especially the wholesaling real estate process. So find where the deals are. Number 2 here is pull a list of motivated sellers, government lists, listri.com, zachdata.com, drawing for dollars on dmzac.com, right? Whatever you really want to do, pull list, skip trace it. And then step number 3, consistently and relentlessly market to these motivated sellers. Text, mail, cold call, reverse drive for dollars. Honestly, I can care less really what you do. What I care more about is how many times you do it, and how efficiently, and how consistently, and how many times every single day you're going out here having conversations with motivated sellers and changing your life forever by making more offers. So that is how you succeed as a part-time wholesaler. It takes time, it takes guts, it takes glory, but if you can consistently do the action and do the work every single day, you're going to get stronger, faster, better, and you're going to make more money. So that is my little TED Talk today on how to succeed as a part-time wholesaler. And what I want to do now is really break down some questions y'all have on wholesaling real estate, specifically part-time wholesaling, and see how I can help the people out. So let's break this down and break it down. So Rich said, wow, good point. I didn't think of that. I'm East Coast and lots of out-of-state West Coast owners. So that's a really good way to do it, right? It really depends on it. TCPA laws get a little weird. So is it telemarketing? Is it not? It's all in it, right? So it depends what you want. So let's break down some questions here. So Apollo says, I've been breaking down all your vids on freewholesaling.com. Still got a lot to go. Yeah, the freewholesaling.com, it's not like 4 videos, right? So I think a lot of people get this really confused. Most gurus, when they have a free course, right, they'll cherry pick the really good information out and they say, oh, you got to buy my mentorship to get the really good info, right? And they'll have like 2 videos on marketing and maybe 1 video on how to close a seller and maybe 2 videos on cash buyers and nothing about title companies or anything like really important or contracts. And it's like 8 videos is their course, right? And it's kind of funny because you go to freewholesaling.com and it's laid out. Let me just show you what it looks like, just so people can see the inside of it and why I talk about freewholesaling.com so much. But like, it's free, by the way. Like, it costs no money at all to do it. So like, it's absolutely free. But let me show you this. Let's go here. Let me log it into freewholesaling.com. All right, let me share my screen. So this is freewholesaling.com. Like, people think it's not like a lot. Like, watch this. Like, this doesn't seem like an insane amount, but like, we really want to break this down. It gets crazy. And I just want everybody to know how freewholesaling.com goes, right? So like, we're looking here. So yeah, we're looking here, right? This is freewholesaling.com. We break down, first of all, we break down all the lingo and the terms for wholesaling, right? You guys got to understand that. Building your foundations, right? We talk about wholesaling, and then we talk about what virtual is. We talk about how closings and title companies work, contracts. And then I teach everything. This is what I part in the foundation part. Nobody teaches this in wholesaling real estate. This is very important. Actually, how to set up your podio. So many people don't do it, but this is literally, you got to learn how to set up the podio, right? Then you get into marketing, right? Picking what market to pick, just a breakdown of every type of way to find a motivated seller. Like, it's insane. Pulling lists, how to use prop stream, pulling niche lists, cold calling, drawing for dollars, SMS text blasting, direct mail, pre-foreclosures, probates. And so if you go to direct mail here, I just want everyone to understand, we have a free direct mail course because direct mail is actually something you pour. Some people pour 10, 15, 20 grand every single month in direct mail. We decided to make our own course on it. It's a free course, by the way. But we decided because you're going to spend so much money in direct mail that we really had to really make a whole course on it so you can learn how to do it right. And no guru does this, right? A whole thing on probates, how to do ARV, right? Like, it's 3, 4, 5 ARV videos. And you see me actually calculate ARV live on it, right? Acquisitions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are 8 modules in free wholesale. No, 8 chapters. I think there's 15 videos in acquisitions right here. 15 stinking videos in acquisitions. But the thing is, I want everybody to get trained effectively on how to do it, right? And this ain't for the faint of heart. But I'm telling you, if you know how to overcome objections, qualify sellers, really, what to do if the seller wants to back out. Like, so when somebody comes out here and they ask, Zach, my seller said this objection and I lost the deal. I'm like, well, go to freewholesaling.com and teach you how to do it. Zach, the seller wants to get out of the deal. What do I do? Click this video, right? What do I do? I get the contract signed. Click this video. You're going to see when you go through all this stuff right here that freewholesaling.com really has everything you need. And I'm just saying this before anybody wants to hop on and talk to me, because I want everyone to understand when you hop on and talk to me, hey, did I go through freewholesaling.com? Because if I didn't, probably my questions are answered right here before you hop on, just to make it easier for you and me. I go through all these real deals I've done, right? And then I have a bonus section. We don't have any like advanced courses, and these are all free, right? I just want everyone to understand that right now, that like we have our scaling systems, some creative finance stuff, short sales. We really don't know what to do with this yet. We're probably making an advanced course section for people. And again, it's always going to be free. Like I'm never going to charge for it. But I just want you guys to understand that like we haven't done anything for it, right? So we just, our MLS wholesaling information's on there, right? And then our 30-day wholesaling challenge, which basically we did on YouTube, right? Where you go through each day starting out in wholesaling, and it breaks down exactly what to do. So just go to freewholesaling.com. You see on the bottom here, freewholesaling.com. And really that's where you can get mentored from me for free on wholesaling. And then once you get on there, you got to learn actually how to pull a link to talk to me for free. And I'll talk to you for free in wholesaling real estate, and actually show you what to do all stinking day so you become successful for wholesaling. So, all right, let's see what other questions we got. I've got Olivia. What is up, Olivia? Olivia said, OMG, what a weekend today. Spent a total of 8 hours cold calling. The conversation I had 2 possible deals out of it. Congratulations, Olivia. Just taking action out there, guys. I'm telling you, that's what it takes to become successful. You're going to actually have to go out here and do the work, and you become a lot more successful. Let's see. So Kevin B. Gaiman says, I don't know what to look for when drawing for dollars. What should I look for? Or what should I look for here? When you're drawing for dollars, you should just look for ugly houses, right? And for most ugly houses, just go to freewholesaling.com for drawing for dollars module. It is on there, right? But really, you want to look for some distress on the property, right? So tall grass is the biggest sign. Any type of structural damage. Really, if you look at the house, it's like it needs some work, right? Some mold on the property, right? Some dirty, like a dirty, crusty house, right? Roof looking damaged, there's debris, no one's upkeeping the house. I mean, if you just look at ugly houses, it'll pop up. Like it just, most people understand what an ugly house looks like, right? And if you're not, just look at, just go to the Facebook group. It actually will be on there, right? So yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Zach. Unbelievable. Help so many people for free. Awesome. Appreciate it. Let's see here. 2-edge sword. All right. It's like Darth Maul, right? You get the, that's kind of cool. The flow comes, yeah. Guys, once you start like putting the practice in, it gets so much easier, right? Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Currently, so I'm currently in Illinois. Am I forced to do virtual? You're not forced. You can do one deal in Illinois, right? Now, I'm not telling you what to do, what to say, what to think, but I would probably look virtual unless you're going to get your license in that state. Oh, this is funny. JSN says, I just saw someone try to charge $2,000 to show you how to get code violations of water shutoff list. These gurus have lost their mind. It's sad people actually buy it though. It's like, it's super depressing. Like when I look at it, like you're going to charge $2,000 because you don't know about Zach Ginn. And that's the funniest part. They're going to charge you $2,000 because you just don't know about me. And that is why I tell everybody to like the video, right? That's why I tell everyone to subscribe, because the more people that subscribe, which means there are more views, and I'm not doing it out of vain to get more views, but if I got more views, that means the algorithm is going to bring my video to more people. And when I bring the video to more people, that means more people get to know about me. And if more people get to know about me, more people get to go to freewholesaling.com. And if more people go to freewholesaling.com, they don't have to pay a broke guru. And we can finally put these gurus out of business. That is what I do. That is what I love talking about. And that's what I just try my hardest on, is just flexing and putting these gurus out of business. It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best chance of success. For most wholesalers, if you just follow what I say, you will become successful. Your business actually becomes a lot better and you make more money. Heck, why don't you want to do that, right? And just funny. So if you want to hop on, talk to me for free, I'm going to show you one more time. I would show everybody how to hop on, talk to me for free. All you got to do is go here to Wholesaling Houses for Real. This is my Facebook group. And all y'all got to do is go here, click, not members, right here on the shared links. Actually, shout out to Clive. Let's give Clive a shout out. Clive's driving for dollars on his bike, and he's got me on YouTube, which is kind of funny seeing my face on people's devices, but he's on here. And shout out to Clive. Clive's out here driving for dollars. Look what house Clive found. This is pretty gangster, actually. It was at the house. No, look at that. That's an ugly house right there. Shout out to Clive out here. You know, he has no car. He doesn't care. He's just, I don't know, he might have a car, but he's just biking. Look at that ugly house. That's the deal right there. Shout out to Clive. Clive's a gangster. Been chasing this house for 4 years, believe it or not, still lives there and won't open the door, talk to you. Crazy. So just click here on the link. You saw that right here, right? Click this. Join here, link in the comments, right? But watch here. All you got to do is click the YouTube link. And, oh yeah, I put it on YouTube. My bad. So you go to the top on the pinned. Let's go to YouTube really quick and just see it. Let's see the link. It should be pinned, and if I'll post it. Oh yeah, it's pinned on the top. Join here on StreamYard. My bad. All right, yeah, it's all on StreamYard. So if you want to hop on StreamYard, go from there, talk to me, and let's get it going. Let's see here. Jesus.
Hey.
What's up? You? I'm blessed, man. How are you?
Awesome, man. You can hear me, right?
Yep, loud and clear. What's up? How can I help you out?
Awesome. All right, so I have 3 questions. Well, first of all, when in the topic of the what's called how to separate your time. So my wife works during the day. I work in the afternoon. I'm actually at work right now, so fortunately I have downtime. But during the day when I'm at home, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So usually in the morning, I try to do my drive for dollars as much as I can before my kids get all irritated.
What market?
I'm doing San Bernardino, California.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, but it gets really hard for me to actually start cold calling because I don't have a consistent schedule where like a time window where I can actually begin cold calling. So I kind of do it at work when I have free time. So what would you recommend?
I mean, dude, the best time to cold call is whenever you can cold call, right?
Yeah.
So you have a consistent schedule with your drawing for dollars, which is nice. Why don't you just do a reverse drawing for dollars?
And that's basically what I started focusing on. And then right now that you mentioned doing direct mail, I was thinking of starting of pushing on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can just test it out in small batches and just see. But for most people out here, I'd probably just call whenever you're free, right? Like, you don't work. Do you work more than 40 hours a week?
Lately I have been.
Okay, so I mean, how many hours are we talking here?
Maybe about 50 to 60 hours a week.
So that means you got a lot of time outside of that. I mean, not a lot. You got kids and a family, but like, you're not working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you do have some time to cold call, right? And really, if you're trying for dollars, it's not going to be that insane, right? Like you're not calling 500 people a day. So honestly, if you can find an hour to a day on whatever schedule you have to cold call, you do 4 hours in one day because that's the one day you get off, right?
Right.
Just whatever time you can make, that's going to be your best one. Don't feel like you have to have a consistent schedule because every single person has their own journey. And hey, get after it.
Yeah, I mean, as funny as it sounds, I mean, the most of the time that I have to cold call is at work. I actually have more time at work than at home. So
hey, no problem, man. Right?
Yeah.
No problem with that.
And in regards to that, what's called because I have a very small budget, so I can only afford one. So I've been thinking whether to do batch leads, to do batch dialer, or to do the what's called deal machine for driving for dollars. Like for sure, I could do driving for dollars, and deal machine does make a big difference. But then if I do the batch dialer, I could focus a lot more on trying to get more calls during cold calling.
Let me ask you a question, because how many drawing for dollars leads have you pulled this week?
This week I've done about 200.
200. And how many of those did you do reverse drawing for dollars on?
I'm gonna say about 60 of them,
60 of them? Why didn't you do all of them?
because of the fact that it's kind of hard to run out of the car, put a sticky note, and then come back with my kids inside the car. So sometimes
Okay.
I've got like bad looks from people like staring at me, like, what are you doing? So
Okay. Are you more worried about that, or are you more worried about what service to get? Because I can tell you is, go ahead.
oh, not that I'm worried. It's just sometimes, I mean, they're not exactly the most pleasant neighborhoods.
Okay.
So, and that's why I get a little worried. But I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I have to do it somehow. So
Okay. I mean, honestly, use whatever service you want. Like, if you're just going to do drawing for dollars, I'd probably use Deal Machine. If you're going to do stuff outside of it, I'd probably use Batch or PropStream.
okay,
That's what I think.
okay. So yeah, all right.
All right.
Another question. So, what's called when it comes to the probate stuff? Sorry, I have it written down here.
No, go ahead.
So when a person in a probate, when someone passes away, and then I was searching up some of my probate list, and I was looking at one of them that apparently they passed away. Then the person that took over, like I guess a PR, they did a family transfer to another family member. So when it comes to doing the probate, do I still have to deal with a person that sent the property, or I don't have to deal with the probate process anymore, or I would just directly call the.
I don't think you have to deal with the probate process anymore. Probates in California are not my favorite, but I would probably still talk to the PR and just see.
Okay. So, would you not recommend doing probates in California?
I probably wouldn't as a beginner.
Okay.
I'd start focusing on trying for dollars and reverse trying for dollars, government list.
All right. Okay, then.
Jesus, I just want you to understand, if you're not willing to reverse try for dollars, somebody else will.
Right.
And probably somebody hungrier than you.
Yeah.
And if you're willing for them to get a deal because of it and you're not, just live with that fact. If you can't live with that fact, then reverse try for dollars.
Okay.
You're going to have to ask yourself that.
Right.
So,
okay. Well,
unless you can afford to do direct mail on all of them, then that's going to be the best thing to do. But just that's something you got to understand and figure out for yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, man.
Have a good one, Jesus.
You too.
Oh, next here we got Joshua.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Not a lot, man. Well, actually, a lot. Honestly, man. First of all, I just want to say the course is awesome. I'm one of those guys that spent a ton of money on gurus. But fortunately, I've been walking your course out step by step. Got my first deal under contract Friday.
Awesome, man.
So I've kind of been going through it step by step. I got 2 more properties to view tomorrow and another property to view Friday. So everything's working as planned. Most of that came by way of text blast. So everything you've been putting out there has been working. I'm kind of working my way through the cash buyer modules. So I know, I've listened to the podcast. I listen to everything. You want us to go through the course first. So I'm actually going through the videos as I'm trying to work through the information. But since I'm on here,
you're going to the guy that made the video. Fast forward it. I like it.
But yeah, just I guess best practices. I got a deal in contract, sweet deal. It's in the area where a lot of the cash buyers that I'm already connected to don't shop in. And so now I'm in a position where I'm, digging into these groups, but just having a hard time finding people who are, like not trying to get a loan. Or had one guy ask me about a down payment and could he make payments, things of that nature. So just getting some bad eggs in this group. So if you could just give me a few quick tips and pointers, I'll implement immediately.
Okay, so what city are we talking?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama. That's a decent market, man. Is this in like a higher crime area?
No, actually, this particular property is not. It's right outside of downtown.
So why is it not desirable to the cash buyer?
The property is, it's just the buyers that I'm getting out of these groups. A lot of these groups are saturated with spammers and people doing, but
Is it a good
just
rental
like,
property?
is it a rental property?
Yeah. Is it a good rental?
Yes. Rents on it would be somewhere around 12 to 1400.
It's pretty good for that area. Why don't you cold call the for rents?
For rents, gotcha. Okay, I could definitely do that.
Yeah. So like, if I'm looking to buy more rentals, I'm probably going to list my house for rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cold call people listing their house for rent on Zillow, Facebook, right? On top of that, I would probably look at the for rents on all the services out there. And then from there too, I would probably go to local real estate investing groups.
Okay.
There's probably one in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes, every Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday. So you know where to go there, right?
Yep.
I do that.
Perfect. All right. That's really all I had, man. I appreciate you for everything you're doing. It's working.
Dude, I appreciate you, man. Here's the thing. You're taking my action, the actual steps I told you to take, and you got results from it, right?
Right.
So all the glories to you. We're like 60% through. It's a lot. You're going downhill now, right? It's a lot easier than bringing up that hill to get that deal, but you still got to do some work, right? You still got to keep running. So don't put the gas off the brakes. If you keep it up and you keep the action it took you to get that deal, you'll get this thing closed and on to the next one, man.
Perfect. I appreciate it, man.
All right. But you got to do me one favor.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to talk to 50 and make at least 50 calls on the for rents tomorrow.
50 calls on for rents tomorrow.
All right.
Got it.
Not 49, not 48.
51.
50. All right, man.
Gotcha. I got you.
All right, dude. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Guys, I tell you, Dispo, I'm telling you, it literally works. If you put in the work, put in the time, awesome. Congrats to him out here. Clint.
Hey, Zach, the man, what's up?
How are you, man? What's up?
I'm good, man. Thank you once again for everything you do. So I just wanted a quick some critique of what I'm doing right now, and I got a comp I wanted to ask you to do for me because I'm trying and I can't figure it out. If that works.
Put in the private chat right now.
Private chat, okay. All right. So what I've just been doing right now is I've just been calling all the courts and institutions of within my county and the next two counties over because they're the most populated. I've just been pulling all the government lists, which is basically code violations. Over here it's called blight, and then the tax delinquencies, the fire damage. And next week, I'm going to start doing the pre-foreclosure and the credit card bail bondsman and that. But my main question is, whenever you guys said don't really deal with towns with populations less than 40,000. I mean, I try not to call a town with populations below 30,000 because I feel like they might not even have the infrastructure to give me the information that I'm looking for. What's your thought on that? You think it would just be a waste of time? Because there's so many towns, some population 10,000, 15,000, 2,000. Well, my county's about 900,000, and the next one, 800,000, another one, 800,000. After that, it drops off to 150,000, 200,000.
What area again? Is this Ohio?
No, I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut. Oh, you're in
Hartford.
Hartford. Okay.
Yeah, Hartford County, Litchfield, and
how far from
Fairfield.
Hartford are these tiny towns?
These tiny towns, we're talking maybe an hour and a half, an hour drive. Don't even bother, right?
Anything within an hour radius, I would probably do. Anything outside of that gets a little steep.
Did you? Hold on, my bad. I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Usually good at multitasking.
No worries, man.
Give me a second. The private chat, it's telling me it's asking me to log in. Do I need to log in? Well, let me just put it in first.
Just put it.
Just put it in.
So the questions we got here. All right. Hey, Zach, I'm just getting started. I've gone through half the course. Would you suggest I finish your course before I start pulling and cold calling a list? Do both. At night, when you can cold call, watch the course. During the daytime, start calling.
Did you see it in the private chat?
Yeah, what's the problem with this property for you?
Thing is, I'm trying to comp it. I spoke to the owner, and it's priced at 75. I asked her if she'd be willing to go down to 60. It's a mobile home, so I'm trying to find a comp with those, but with the same prerequisites, and I'm finding none. Maybe I'm just not doing it right.
Don't lock it up for over 52,000. That's your
So don't lock it up.
Done. No
What did
question.
you say?
Dude, I just picked 70% roll FISBOs.
You're going way faster than me. I got to catch up with you. You said don't lock it up for.
Don't lock it up for over 70% of the Zillow for sale by owner price.
Gotcha. All right, done. That's it.
That's it, man. Because I'm seeing this neighborhood, bro. I'm seeing one for 45. But I see another one for 94. These are all over the board.
Are they mobile homes or?
Yes, same neighborhood.
I don't know why it's not working for me. Because probably it's not doing it right. But all right.
You're fine, man. I'm just telling you, 70% roll, follow it.
Gotcha.
Don't lock it up for over 70% of the listing price.
Gotcha, man.
So 70%,
You're the man.
75, like 52 something.
50, something like that. All right. So I work with her. I'm gonna talk to her tomorrow to see about closing it out. 45.
Why not?
Go as low as possible, right?
Go for no.
See what they're needing. All right, man.
It's more uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable having to get out of the deal because you locked up for too high than giving an uncomfortable offer in the beginning.
Gotcha.
You can never go down on your initial offer. You can only go up.
I gotcha.
So just know that, man. You're good to go.
All right, bro. Thanks.
Keep it up. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. I've been saying that a lot lately. Just because of changing markets and things like that with Zillow for sub owners, I've not offer over 70% of it. You'll see a lot of wholesalers are actually doing that, and they're becoming a lot more successful with it. I'm telling you guys, it actually works. Most people don't know that, but yeah, it does work. All right, let's see here. Boom. So DJ Brooks says, what was your cold calling schedule while you were in college? My cold calling schedule in college was 2 to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, and I did not stop from that schedule. Evan.
Yo,
What's
can you
up?
hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I just had some questions. So my little background, I guess, I've been cold calling for a couple months, right? Since I graduated, so around June or so, I started cold calling, but it was like months and months, and nobody was even like remotely interested. So I shifted over to the on-market MLS stuff, right? And so anyways, I've been watching, your streams often and whatnot. I've been on, the Flip with Rick. I got all the check marks next to all my the videos, like the live streams you got on your website, freewholesaling.com and whatnot. And I mean, there's one on here, and I watched the one about like in a recession, trying to pick up some valuable insights. And I learned quite a lot of stuff on that for my because I'm calling up these people with the realtors. But I mean, I was a bit late on that, right? So anyways, I got this one deal because I've been getting a lot more, interested people on market. The people on like the MLS, they obviously want to sell their stuff. So, getting more interested things. So anyways, I got one of them under contract. Do what?
How many deals have you done on market?
Oh, I haven't done any, but
Okay.
I've gotten stuff under contract, but I kind of got it fell through, right? So this lady, uh, she basically said, we agreed to the price, whatnot, send over the contract. I use DocuSign and whatnot, but um, she wasn't having it or whatnot after that because like she started like ghosting me and whatnot, and she kind of just snaked out of the deal. And I didn't have earnest money deposited at that time, so it wasn't legally binding. And basically, she kind of like flaked out on me, and it really sucked. So I
Was it a
seen
realtor?
like, yeah, it was a realtor.
Yeah.
And so I seen on your video, you're like, use their contracts. They're 2-page long, the ones that they're assigned by the government or whatnot, or not the government, but their little organization, because that's what the realtors like. They like their own contracts. And so my friend, he was telling me how to make it assignable. He was like, you just you tell them to put your name on the bottom where it says like where you sign at and whatnot. He said you put your name or assignee, and then you could just tell him like, you don't know if it's going to go to what LLC or something like that. You say like, I have multiple LLCs and I don't know which the property's going under at this time. And it would save me some paperwork or something. He said that's what he said, and he did that before, and it made it assignable, right? So I was just wondering, like, does that make sense for you?
Is your
Like, could
friend a
you do
lawyer?
that? Do what?
Is your friend a lawyer?
Not to my knowledge.
Are you a lawyer?
Nope.
Am I a lawyer?
I
No.
don't think
No.
so.
Okay. So we're not lawyers. You should probably ask your title company if that's okay for that state.
Okay.
And if they say, no, we like this, then do what they say because they have lawyers on staff. Do what the lawyers say, not what your friend says. I can tell you straight up, I have a lot of friends that tell me things. And if I sometimes do stupid stuff like that, and the title company's like, we can't accept this. Our lawyer said no. Then you're stuck, right?
Yeah, that would really suck.
So ask the title company. It is a quick conversation, but it saves you a lot of pain, and you don't have to pay for a lawyer. So that's number one. Number two, you're acting like on market's this crazy special thing, and you haven't
I
done
mean,
one
it's
deal.
not like I know I've been at this for a while, but it's definitely a grind too. But they're just more receptive.
They're a lot more receptive. They're a lot harder to sell. They're a lot harder to get deals on.
Yeah, they are more hard to sell. Lots of these cash buyers
And
I
you don't
talk
have any
to.
money for EM. You didn't put any EMD down, and that's pretty much one of the cornerstones of wholesaling on market.
It was yeah. It was
So they're
like
receptive,
too
but they
early.
ghost you because you put no EMD. So they're not really receptive.
Oh, I mean, they didn't really get a sign it either. Like they said it was all good. They liked the price and
How
whatnot,
many
but then
contracts have you written with realtors on market this month?
just the one.
Just one. Once you start doing 10 or 12 a month, you'll figure out that realtors are going to want 1 to 2 to 3 grand. If you don't do it, they're not going to deal with you. So they're technically less receptive than a motivated seller.
Yeah, that's
You're
pretty
going
true.
off of one deal, bro.
But you're talking on the stream. You say earnest money due at the end of inspection period on the free wholesaling. So I mean, they would have the right to cancel, before the time wasn't over anyways.
Evan, I
So
think you were cherry picking that freewholesaling.com. How many
well,
offers have I said you have to make to do one wholesaling deal on the MLS?
I'm not even gonna guess. I don't
75
know,
to
to be
100.
honest. 100?
You're going to do 75 to 100 cold offers to realtors before you can get one deal.
Okay.
Most
I
likely.
mean, I've been making a lot, but I think
How many have you made?
my market's competitive a bit too. That's another
How many have
thing.
you made?
I mean, I guess I haven't really. I'm pulling my spreadsheet. Hold on. I've got
Contracts sent to realtors. Counts as an offer.
contract sent. I mean, mostly we just make verbal ones.
Contracts sent to realtors. How many?
Oh shoot, probably I think 2.
So you got 2. You got to do like 100, man. So
Yeah, that's a lot. Let
MLS
me.
is a big boy game. And if you want to play a big boy game, you're going to have to do big boy numbers.
I mean, I've been making lots of verbal ones too, but
But
they
you
kind
haven't
of
got
like
any deals,
shoot me
man.
down. Yeah, I know, but
You have to pump
I
your
just, I
numbers
just
up.
kind of keep to it, like even if they say no, I keep going. Like I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 or so just recently. I have marked under red that they flagged me. They said no. But,
Evan, if you do 2 a week for 5 weeks, that's 10 offers. You're going to get no deals in a month. You're going to have 10 months before you even have a chance of getting a deal. And so what ends up being better for your time?
what do you mean? Shoot more offers?
You're going to have to shoot more offers, man. What market?
Kansas City.
You're going to shoot a ton of offers, man.
Yeah.
You ain't the only wholesaler on the MLS. I'm just saying, MLS wholesaling is a big boy game, and you're already dealing with a lot of headwinds. And so a lot of realtors are already not going to like the no EMD thing till the inspection. They're all going to be questioning like crazy, and you're going to have to get a ton of offers. So if you're not willing to do those things, it's going to be a lot tougher. I know the MLS wholesaling game. I've wholesaled house on the MLS. It's not my favorite. I definitely don't recommend it to people that haven't gotten their first deal. But I can tell you it's an extreme disadvantage. The only advantage I can tell you is unless you're a licensed realtor yourself, it's not going to be an asset compared to wholesaling off market in Kansas City.
Why does
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've helped a lot of people get their first deal in Kansas City. And they're not doing it on the MLS, they're doing it off market. 80% of all 80% of all deals sold off market. 80% of all deals sold below market value pretty much come from off market. So if you want to deal with the 20%, it's going to be fine, but you're going to have to play the big boy game and do the big boy numbers. And if you're not willing to do that, it's going to be tough, man.
Now I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep making more offers and whatnot. But another question I had. So when I'm making lowball offers, so to speak, you multiply the thing by 0.7, 0.8 or so, right? Minus repairs, the standard issue. But then when you calculate like the amount of profit your investors will make, because you want to like kind of advertise to your cash buyers too. You want to like make them know it's a good deal. How much is too much profit for them? Because you have to find like that healthy balance type of thing between low price but yet good profit for investors. I mean, I guess it depends on the size of the flip and whatnot too, but is there like a general measure?
Yeah, I'm popping up for you. Hold on. I got to pop up the thing. Let's see. Find dual agency. All right, where is it? So, I mean, there's not perfect too much. So what do you mean by this? So like, are you saying how much profit on the initial offer or to the cash buyer?
Okay, so when you offer a lower price or like you offer a
To
low
the buyer
ball
to the seller?
to the seller, right?
Okay.
You offer them a low price, that leaves like room for more profit for the investor. But I kid you not, like, I mean, it's happened actually a couple of times, but like the real estate agents, they kind of laugh. They're like, you want to make how much profit for how much repairs? You're crazy type of thing. So, I mean, what would be like a reasonable, good amount of profit for your cash buyers to make
Are you
off,
looking at the
say,
screen? Are you looking at the
25K
screen?
repairs?
Are you looking
Yeah.
at the screen? What does the screen say?
Submit 100 offers a day via email. 75 plus days on market. Submit cold offers 25% off listing price.
Does that answer your question?
I mean, kinda, but these listing prices, you know how it's like trending downwards and whatnot? Lots of these people have prices that are obscene. Like,
You don't want the property get in trouble. You don't get the agent to be going after you. So a lot of these deals, you're going to have to double close. All right, go ahead. Click the thing by accident.
oh, okay. I thought you were talking for a second. It kind of tripped me out.
No, you're good.
Okay, but anyways, so like some of these properties, like they're prime opportunity, like they're like the MPV, really nice. They have the gray floors, the nice backsplash, the marble countertops and whatnot. They're like that, but they're filled with trash on the inside. Like a hoarder lives there, but that's like the only problem, right? And it was like a 2-bed, 1-bath for sale, and it was around 50 grand. But then there's lots of these other people who are trying to sell, you know, a really run down shack, and they're asking like 75 grand. So 25% off, you would still be burned out. I mean,
Okay.
at that price.
Okay. And
So I mean, how would I
do
do
75%
like this?
of all the listing prices. If you comp every single deal, you're not going to be able to make a lot of offers.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but that is a weird way. How would you go about it if it didn't work out? Do you just cancel on them?
Or you get a price reduction.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that works
If
pretty
the
well,
house
huh?
is a hoarder's house and it's in perfect condition, then just clearing the house out shouldn't. Just because there's junk in a house doesn't bring the equity down. The junk doesn't make the house worth less. If you clear the junk out, the house is worth fine, and it's going to cost $1,000 to clear it out. That's not really going to affect the value of the house. You might be doing your comps wrong. Unless there's a structural damage or an actual like repair that has to be done on the property, it's
Well,
not going to
they're
affect the house.
motivated sellers though. Like, I guess that's where the price really comes in too. You have to find the motivation. That's a big part.
From a realtor.
Yeah, like there's some motivated people on here. Some of it they'll even put it in the descriptions.
Okay. And have you gotten deals from them?
I guess not really, but
You're going to have to just make the offers. You can't you can't look at the descriptions and think like this is going to be a deal. You're going to have to lowball them and just go from there. You're going to not win on most of them. It's a numbers game, man.
so for tomorrow per se, should I just go on like every house for sale and just start like obscene lowballing and then figure it out kind of
Evan, I'm going to
afterwards?
cut you off, man, because you've clearly not gone to freewholesaling.com. Like, look at the screen. This is in freewholesaling.com. What does it say right here?
75 plus days on market, submit 100
You're asking
offers
how
a
many
day.
days, and you know in freewholesaling.com it says 75 plus days.
Yeah.
You got to go through the course, bro.
I mean, you could check. I've
Well,
watched
what
a
you
lot of these.
say and what you're actually asking me is completely different.
What?
There we go. All right, a little easier. Oops, I think we lost a connection there. If you ask me questions multiple times and you've gone through freewholesaling.com and you say you have, but you ask me questions that are clearly in the course, and I say it multiple times, cut out. Best of luck, Evan. But yeah, I can't argue with somebody that hasn't done a deal and they're telling me how to do deals to me when you haven't done a deal. I just go to a guru. That's all I can tell you there. I just think it's funny. But Troy. Yo. All righty. Let me throw on Troy. Just unmute your mic. Awesome. Trust says, what is a reasonable investment for a flipper? Every flipper is different. Every cash buyer is different, right? Because some will actually like to rent the properties out. Honestly, what I could tell you is a lot of wholesaler seller deals basing a 20% off to the flipper, but each one's so much different. You got to ask, right? So I think for most people, the more higher up the price, the more they're willing to do it. So you just got to see which one's going to be the best one for you. What do you do if the seller won't turn water on for inspection period? There's not much you can do because you don't own the property. you're probably going to have to get a better price reduction if that's affecting the cash buyer. CC says, what if they have loans out against the property? Can they still sell it? Yeah, they can still sell it. So if, let's say the property has, let's say you agree to buy it for $100,000 and there's a loan out for $20,000 on the property and no mortgage or anything, that means the seller is going to get $80,000 at the end of the day. Let's say we sell the deal for 110. That means at closing, 110 from the cash buyer, 10,000 goes to us, 20,000 goes to whatever lien or loan is on the property, and then 80,000 to the seller. So it doesn't affect much. It just changes what's going on with it. Let's see here. If they drop 100K, should they expect 115? Every person's different, man. Maybe they expect more. Maybe they expect less. I can't be in the mind of every cash buyer because I want to make 40K every single deal I do. Some people want to make 30K, right? It depends on kind of flipping they're doing too. Some people just want a 12% cap rate, right? They're all a little different. Awesome, awesome. Let's see here. Alrighty. John says, hey man, appreciate the content you post. Newbies currently learning the videos. I just wanted to know if it's ever too late to get into wholesaling. It is never too late to get into wholesaling. I'll tell you this, guys. Wholesaling real estate, the best time to wholesaling real estate is like the best time to plant a tree, right? The best time to plant a tree was 15 years ago, right? The second best time is today, right? Maybe it's not going to be as good as it was 20 years ago, but what is, right? So it's still the best opportunity ever to go out here and wholesale houses. It is hands down the best tool for financial freedom. It is hands down the best way for anyone to go from no money at all to a ton of money, okay? So many wholesalers are going out here and trying to get into this business, right? And honestly, a lot of them are not going to do well and some of them are going to do well, right? I would say for most people out here, wholesaling is going to be your best plan of attack. But the problem is wholesaling does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of dedication. And if you go out here and do well, it'll happen. It'll do well for you. But the problem is I see people that make excuses and I see people that actually get stuff done. And if you're willing to get stuff done and taking the hard work every single day, this is the best thing to do it. It is never too late. It's just if you have enough time to go after it, right? So that's all I can tell you. Let's see. Troy, are you back on?
Yes. Can you hear me, Zach?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? I just want to say, love the content. Been following you for a while. I kind of already know what you're gonna say, but I've been doing wholesaling since around 2017. I used to send out mail, and I did about 3 deals really fast. JV'd them all, and then from 2018 to this year, I've probably done around 3-4 deals, but they all been JV. I never really closed my own transactions fully. And then lately, it's just hard for me to focus and do it as a business. I just can never get any consistency. So I tried to work for like wholesale companies or people, and because I'm like, okay, I can't really do the business or the business side on my own. I'm good with talking to sellers and having conversations. I just could never get over that hump. So just any motivation you could give me your advice. I know I got a lot of knowledge, but still haven't got over that hump.
Awesome. So what's your question?
It's really not a question. I guess I just what do you recommend to? Let me ask you. What do you recommend to someone who struggles with consistency?
Well, first of all, it's getting a little hard to hear you. Are you talking on your headphones?
Yeah, hold on, let me take this off. Hold on.
Yeah, turn your Bluetooth off.
Can you hear me?
Dude, that was way better.
Oh, sorry about that, man. So did you? So you didn't understand what I was saying?
I heard most of it, but
Okay.
the last part.
So the question I was just asked is, what would you do with some? I mean, what do you recommend for someone who struggles with consistency?
So what does your schedule look like? I mean, first of all, what market are you in?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay. And are you wholesaling in Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. So specifically, what's your issue with consistency? Is it a motivation? Is it a effort thing? Like what is it? Time?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the systems, the prop stream, the bass dialer. I tried to do texting using REI reply, and I've seen results, as far as leads and managing people. It's just the consistency with doing it and figuring out which list to pick. And I guess I just get in my head a lot. So I haven't been able to do a deal in a while, in the last probably, since earlier this year. So
It's pretty easy, man. I always say two things, right? So you're kind of the average avatar of someone that's struggling, right? Struggling with consistency. It's pretty easy to get rid of that, right? And it's pretty simple. Do you have any favorite sports teams?
yeah, the Warriors, Golden State.
Golden State. All right, that's cool. They won the championship last year. So do you think they make a game plan before they go out in a game?
Of course.
Yeah, and they run plays and they do all that stuff, right?
Right.
You're like playing pickup basketball right now. Like you're not playing it like a professional team.
JV
And,
park ball.
no, it's not that, but like you're kind of running willy-nilly, just like running plays and just throwing it the ball to whoever you want, right? And you got to like make a game plan, right? Like, hey, you go here, you cut here, you make a pick, you roll. Like you got to start doing stuff like that. Like Klay Thompson doesn't get open just because he's sitting there. Like they make plays, right?
Right.
You got to do the same thing. You have to create a schedule and stick with it. Create a plan and then go from there. Hey, I'm going to pull these leads every single month, and I'm going to text these many leads every single day with this script. And then make the play out for the full month, and then stick with the plan and do it. That's to become a true professional.
Right. Make that plan. No, I appreciate that. And the last question I would ask is, I know you always recommend there's a way you tell people to go to the county clerk and get this such list. For somebody who has the ability to utilize something like a prop stream, do you still think it's good to go get those kind of lists, or can you pull
it's still
those
better to go in
prop stream? You think it's better to go? Okay.
Yeah, you're just in a more saturated market. Any advantage you can possibly get. I know it's a little more work, but unfortunately, because you're in a more saturated market, it's probably going to work better for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I appreciate your stuff, man. I'm still going through the course, and I'm gonna work on getting that game plan going, man. I'm happy to chat with you today.
Awesome, man. Are you in Boston, or are you in like a suburb of Boston?
No, I'm actually in Worcester, Massachusetts. So that's about
don't even
40
tell me
minutes
Boston,
from
man.
Boston.
That's completely different game plan then.
Okay.
Those are different markets, man. You know that.
So yeah, you're right. So yeah, I usually do Worcester County or Middlesex County. So I just say it because it's easier to recognize.
Yeah, but wholesaling is very, very specific to the market.
Okay, so I'm in Worcester.
I know the whole country, man, because I do JV deals around the whole country. So
I know. Yeah, I'm in Worcester.
All right, cool, man. All right. So what's the average ARV in Worcester? I'm not going to say it. All right.
When you say average ARV, you mean single family and multifamily together, or how you?
I kind of just go off of home values.
I would say like between 360 and 380, maybe.
Yeah, your Zillow's at 375.
Okay.
A lot better than Boston, man. You know that. So.
Yep.
All right. Because Boston is. Yeah, a lot more. All right.
So yeah, technically, yeah, I'm not in the Boston, in that middle of that market, right? I'm in like the outskirts and surrounding towns.
That being said, man, this changes it. Do you have any ways of driving for dollars?
Yeah, I can.
I would drive for dollars then. That's
okay.
the best way to find distressed properties. Now we're going into the winter, So I'd go hard in the paint as we can right now.
Right.
before it gets a
For
little worse. But I would say this probably be the best opportunity for you. I would dedicate probably 4 hours a week if you can to drawing for dollars and reverse running for dollars for winter gets worse.
Yeah, I can do that.
4 hours, that's
Reverse
it.
driving for dollars. Reverse driving for dollars is when you pull up those leads and then you go to the house and leave a note or something like that.
Now you're driving, you find an ugly house, right? Maybe some roof damage. You put a sticky note on there. Hey, this is Troy. A quick question about your house. Please give me a call back.
Got it.
Boom.
Got it.
Phone number, Google Voice usually. I'm telling you, you don't have to call them. You don't have to skip Tracy. Like it's there and they call you. It's a lot easier, man. And just 4 hours, I'd start implementing that and consistently do that on top of what you're doing. And I think you're going to consistently start getting more leads and it will do a lot better.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I appreciate you, man. I'll work on that and I'll come back. Once I get some traction.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it, Troy.
Take care, Zach. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks.
All right.
Awesome, guys. So that is it. That's how, if you are part-time in real estate, you can become a really good wholesaler, working only 10 to 20 hours a week. I promise you guys, make a plan, stay consistent with it, and you will get the results. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.